Podcasting from somewhere in the San Francisco Bay Area, the birthplace of Bruce Lee, the iPhone, and the bendy straw. This is Ruel's Running Podcast, a podcast about running, health, family, play, and an NSNG lifestyle. And now, here's your host, Ruel.
There was a dream a million miles away. There was fire in
Amazon.com. You know, I won't be surprised if more and more stuff that I shop for, buy, and get shipped to my home comes from Amazon. It's just a reality, right? And if this is your reality, go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon banner to get to Amazon. Why am I asking you to do so? Well, it is a no-cost-to-you way. If you like listening to Ruel's Running Podcast, it is a way that you can help the show out without spending more than you've already spent while shopping at the good folks at Amazon.com. So help us out. Go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon.com site, and shop, connect, and enjoy. Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome to Ruel's Running Podcast. If you are a return listener, welcome. If you are a new listener, hey new listener, this is Ruel. I'm the host of Ruel's Running Podcast, and I'm glad you're here. And I'm hoping you not just stick around and listen to this episode, but take the time to check out all the past episodes. There's some wonderful episodes with friends of the show, athletes, authors, parents, and all folks from all walks of life, whom that I love dearly, and hope to get back on the show once I get my together. Right on. So I want to slip right into announcements as I slip on through. So Ruel's Running Podcast is approaching 3 years, and I'm thinking about changing things up a bit. I'm looking for music, some good music, some awesome music that I can, feature, or that I could sort of tease, in the intro, on the outro, and also as a way to promote the artist of the music. So if you or somebody you know has music that they would love to have played on a podcast, I'd like to hear the music. I'd like to sample it. I'd like to find out who and what and where and all that good stuff. So hit me up on ruelsrunning@gmail.com, or leave a message on SpeakPipe on the site ruelsrunning.com, or on the voicemail, the voice the voice system. That's at 650 mug Ruel. Like coffee mug. That's 650 MUGRUEL. Do that. Or if you just want to say hi, just get on the phone, say hi. If you say you want to kick me in the nuts, then I'll maybe I'll play that on the podcast. It's all good. It's all fun. You know what? I haven't done one of these in a while. I want to give a shout out. Shout out to a coworker on my day job. His name's Devin. What's up, Devin? Devin's a cool guy. He's on his own keto journey. He brings his lunch to the office. Broccoli and some sort of protein, and he showed some interest in this little silly show, and I'm like, okay, here you go. And but I'm looking forward to chatting more with Devin about how things are going with him, and if there's anything I can assist him with as far as pointers, tips, and all that good stuff. Yeah. Now, we are moments away from enjoying the Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S. And if you are enjoying the Thanksgiving spirit while you're not in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving to you. If you are in the U.S. and you're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to you. If you have no idea what Thanksgiving is, that's okay. Thanks for being here, and make sure, like I do say at most of the ends of the episode, just, eat something delicious, hug your family and all that. Nope. We're not ending the show yet. Just wanted to put that out. Speaking of Thanksgiving, speaking of food, what's been cooking? I've been out for a while with the family on vacation, and we will be returning and spending time with family and other relatives for Thanksgiving. But I did want to touch on food, and this is basically the what's cooking, y'all. And recently, did a couple things on the Instant Pot. And if y'all don't know what the Instant Pot is, it's just an electric pressure cooker that has the ability to do other things than just pressure cook. And again, I'll put links in the show notes to this thing called the Instant Pot. But one of the things, that we did at home with the Instant Pot was what's basically an easy pulled pork. And it is literally easy. You just get a nice pork roast, season it up, some dry rub of your choice, and my son is snorting in the background. Anyways, basically salt, pepper, paprika, onion, garlic powder, all that good stuff, and just stick that thing in an Instant Pot. Add a little broth, because the Instant Pot is also used to make bone broth. But we'll take like a cup of broth and stick that in with the roast, and fire that thing up on manual, on high pressure for like 30, 45 minutes, depending on the size of your roast. And then once, basically what happens is the Instant Pot gets to temperature, gets to pressure, then it'll count down. And then once the timer is done, it's allowed to depressurize naturally, so maybe another 20, 25 minutes. And that thing's done like in about an hour. So that's the easy pulled pork. But what was interesting is my wife and I did our take on what's called kare kare. It's a Filipino dish. It's a dish that her and I have are familiar with, growing up in a Filipino household. And when I first was aware of the dish as a kid, I used to think it was the most disgusting, well, not the most, maybe the second most disgusting thing to eat. And it really isn't. It's really delicious. And when preparing the dish, it was my first time preparing the dish, regardless of it being in an Instant Pot. So the Instant Pot added a different twist to it. And basically the dish is oxtail. My wife bought a bunch of oxtail. She wanted to eat some oxtail. And I love oxtail. And I didn't as a kid, but as an adult, I love it. And it isn't cheap for whatever reason. And it's just practically like bone and cartilage and, some meat. It's not like just getting a whole roast of, beef. It's not full of meat. It's, whatever comes in a tail, less the skin and hair. Anyways, it's basically taking the oxtail and pressure cooking it, and then adding broth and adding, are you ready for it? Peanut butter. That's right. And if you like the taste of peanuts, if you're okay with peanuts, it adds that sort of Asian-y, peanutty layer and flavor profile to it. And then some, I think it was fish sauce. We had some fish sauce to it. So definitely that gives it that Asian kick. So you got peanuts, you got fish sauce, you've got, slow cooked oxtail, And vegetables are added to it, like what is it, eggplant, and there would have been some Chinese long beans in there, but we didn't find any at the market, so we just added more eggplant. And I'm trying to remember what else off the top of my head what went in there. But that was basically it. And once that is all cooked and incorporated, I think we threw in what are some sort of leafy greens? I can't remember. Whatever. So, but the whole thing that grossed me out as a kid was that there was peanut butter in this meat, and it was being eaten as a dish. And I'm like, peanut butter is supposed to be in a sandwich with jelly, that kind of thing, right? But nope. And this was quality peanut butter, right? If you consider Justin's plain classic peanut butter as quality peanut butter, the next best thing to actually making your own peanut butter. So that was awesome. Some oxtail, some broth, some peanut butter, and some veggies, fish sauce, good to go. It's if you hadn't tried it, dig up a recipe, or I'll try to dig one up for you, and I'll stick it in the show notes. And if you're not, if you're not offended by any of the ingredients, it's a pleasant surprise. It'll be a pleasant surprise. The blending of all of those ingredients. But yeah, that's food. And I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving with the family and see what comes of the lunch table, the dinner table. Yeah.
Coming up, Rue gives us something else to think about. How vague is that, Ruel? Geez. Could you be any vaguer, Ruel? Well, it's all coming up on Ruel's Running. Okay, the book is called Eat Happy, Gluten-Free, Grain-Free, Low-Carb Recipes for a Joyful Life by me, Anna Vicino. Eat Happy has 154 delicious grain-free, gluten-free recipes that are also free of any processed sugars. There are meats, fish, sides, soup, starters, casseroles, slow cooker recipes, breakfast dishes, and even desserts to satisfy any sweets craving you might have, all with virtually no sugar. If you are low-carb, paleo, are wanting to keep autoimmune issues at bay, or just want to lose extra weight, Eat Happy gives you comfort food where you won't miss the sugars or grains, so your body and brain can feel happy from eating real food. Okay, go get it then. Now's your chance. Yay! Yay!
Speaking of family, like a lot of folks, family time's a dynamic time. A lot goes on, and some highs, some lows, some cool moments and some hot moments. And a couple weeks ago, dealt with some pretty heated moments, and I'm going to touch on that on future episodes. And it basically had to do with dealing with bullies. And some of the listeners out there who I'm in direct contact with know what I'm talking about. And yeah, so I had some sort of like bully-related stuff going on, and had to take care of business. And it's never fun, but we're at a point where it's sort of like things have eased off, things have improved, and it's just a matter of time to see that things continue to stay good. And no one wants drama as the holiday rolls around, and so but nonetheless, as the holidays roll around, I'm going to share a little bit of that drama, just so that folks who know and have similar experience or happen to encounter similar experiences can at least get my perspective and my family's experience and go off of that, because it's stuff that I needed to know when I was going through it. I hit up some folks and got some of that support. Anyways, but that's that. The rest of the family chat has to do with that we're on vacation and spending a whole lot of time with each other, and visiting the Disney park, and memories and a lot of pictures, and looking forward to the next time. Many more trips with the family, and hopefully folks out there are having that same sort of quality time with the folks that they love, especially as the holidays kind of approach quickly. Wish you the best there. Want to slip right into health chat. This is going to be a quick episode. I just wanted to chime in. I know I've yet to publish an episode in November. Just, again, a lot of stuff has been going on, so I want to apologize. But I have plans to kind of bombard you with a whole series of stuff before the year's end, believe it or not. So you have been warned. Now, on the health front, I'm kind of feeling I'm back to my old self. And my old self meaning myself feeling the most optimal, like approximately a year ago. So I've gone through this whole journey, years worth of journey of sort of falling off the wagon and trying to, and realizing that I have to get back on, but it hasn't been until like now, right? Like almost 12 months later that I'm at a spot where I'm there or close to there, and it feels great. And how do I know that? Well, I know that because my clothes are fitting better, my watch fits better, my ring fits better. I just like the way I feel most of all. And if folks want to know what I'm talking about, who are new listeners of the show, is, for a long time I've been part of the NSNG, Vinnie Tortorich's No Sugar, No Grains community, and I guess it's been about 5 years ago when I started that journey, and I learned how my health can stand to benefit from eliminating sugar and eliminating grains, and as a quick sort of intro to what that is, or quick description, it's simply that, you take everything that's a sugar, everything that's a sweetener, and you sort of understand what other things can be classified under a sugar or a sweetener, and you cut those out, because at its very core, it's stuff that'll, keep you on that sugar addiction and craving train, and wanting to sort of trick your hormones into continually eating and ignoring your, or overriding your hunger signals. And then on the grains front, understanding what grains are, processed, whole, doesn't matter, and know that, at its very core, it's not just can be an allergen or a gut irritant, whatever you call it, but it's also at its very core sugar. So it's basically no sugar and no sugar, and it all comes down to that, because all that stuff impacts your hormones and impacts your ability to stay level and all that good stuff. So I've learned through that lifestyle that I can eliminate sugar and I can eliminate grains and I can thrive. And what that does mean is that I've had to introduce things that back 5 years ago, and when I started, was new to me, the concept of, but this concept is not so new today, but still there's a large part of the population that have no idea. Eating a healthy fat diet, right? So we're talking about eliminating sugars, eliminating grains, but eating more healthy fats, eating more healthy proteins, or a moderate amount of healthy proteins. And so just swap those things out and see what happens. And, it's been a great journey, and I've actually been able to get a good amount of success, feel younger, supposedly look younger, fit in smaller clothes, and and take that and wrap that around the fact that I wanted to run. I'll run a lot. Trying to find out, okay, what does this lifestyle mean as far as how I fuel and recover on my runs? And turns out it's the perfect thing to be on when doing all this activity. So, just if anybody's interested, let me know. Comments on the site or email me, and if there are any questions, I'm not an expert. I'm just my own personal expert of me, and who happens to be part of this bigger community and wanting to share. But if anybody has any questions, I can direct you to resources. I can share my experiences and help guide folks along and send them on their own. Help send them on their own journey. So I'm back to where I want to be, and there's a lot more improvement. And hopefully by the end of the year, it'll be a greater amount of improvement. But and I put on weight, and I've not felt my best. I've struggled. The whole emotional, psychological part of it all, it's really strong, because I can sit here and know exactly what I need to eat and how I need to live, but then, when certain stresses kick in, it's like, I'm kind of losing my mind right now, and I'm not even going to make the effort to, be good. I'm just going to just flow for the sake of flowing, because every other aspect of my life is kind of hard. This is just an example. And so you do that enough, you kind of let it slip long enough, and then next thing you know, a year comes around, you're like, what have I done to myself? So luckily it's not been a year of wrecking myself. It's been most of the year, but fortunately too that I could get clarity and be at a better place and spring back, and springing back is pretty simple. It's just goes back to eliminating sugars and grains, and it's not a whole lot of exercise. It's maybe 2 or 3 activities in the week that range from doing a jog, doing a run, or just doing a good hour walk, and makes a difference. And what makes a difference too is that, for me, doing those activities at a typical lunch hour, because it takes me away from wondering how am I going to spend my time? Where am I going to go? Maybe I should eat something, and then eat something that I don't want to eat. So I like overriding the lunchtime boredom with activity, and that'll take me away from making bad choices with food. And the activity, again, doesn't have to be like a formalized run. I often just walk around with comfy shoes, my running shoes, and I'll just take a hike. If I don't want to, put on a pair of shorts and go for a run, I'll just go wander and take interesting pictures and come back an hour later and feel good about myself. Anyways, that's that. Return to self. And on the running front, I haven't signed up for anything new. No new events. At the moment, I'm sort of like monitoring other people's running and feeling inspired there. Because of the holidays, I'm not actively looking to fill up time on a run for some event. But, for December, there is that Hunter S. Thompson Fat Ass event in San Francisco that, if I end up having time on that weekend and there is and I can make it, I'd love to make that one. That one's a 50K and a 50 miler. I definitely want to challenge myself on a 50 miler, but I don't know if that particular 50 miler is the one. But just going out in general and spending time would be great. Out in the city, trying to cover the distance with a bunch of folks from the running community. Speaking of communities, I mentioned the NSNG community, No Sugar, No Grains, I'm a admin to the No Sugar, No Grains Facebook groups. I'm not the most active of admins, and that has been shared. The responsibility has been shared with Lonnie Beecham, friend of the show, my personal friend, and Mark Thompson out of Auckland, and those guys have been hammering, the admin efforts for the groups more than I have these days. So I just wanted to thank those guys for all of that. It's a thankless job. So many people, they'll ask to be added to the group. That sort of there's several admins. So depending on who comes in, they have to pick and choose who they want to message to be added and submit a request to be in the group. And I still get my share. And it's thankful when the individual says, "Hey, thanks for adding me." But in general, the other sort of admin efforts, monitoring the posts, making sure that people are staying on topic, and inappropriate stuff is left out of the forum or the group. Making decisions whether or not somebody's a spammer and somebody's there to cause trouble, and then checking in with the other admins and making that call whether to contact the person directly to tell them to knock it off or just knock them off. That stuff happens, and and the group is approaching. What is it, guys? 19,000 members in the main group. So. Maybe it's more. Maybe it'll hit 20,000 members by the end of the year. But that's that. And the other news in the NSNG community is Vinny Tortorich and Andy Schreiber have been hard at work for the past year and have recently launched and released and opened up Pure Coffee Club, and people have already ordered and people have already received, and it's fantastic. Pure Coffee Club is, I guess its own thing. I don't know if you want to call it a spin-off of Pure Vitamin Club. If you're a longtime fan of the show, Pure Vitamin Club is something that I've talked about and, subscribed to for a long time. And now Pure Coffee Club, and, Vinny and Andy have shared their sample roasts and beans to several folks, including myself, and I've been able to sample and enjoy Pure Coffee Club coffee. And there are 3 blends. Yeah, so this isn't new. You can go to purecoffeeclub.com and see what's there. And there are 3 roasts, and I received 3 roasts, and of the 3, I'm down to the last roast, and I gotta put in an order now to get coffee. It's so awesome to just get free coffee. But yeah, as I lick my dry lips, and it makes kind of squirty poppy sounds on the mic. Oh well. But yeah, congrats to Vinny and Andy, and congrats to everybody else behind Pure Coffee Club. I know it's more than there are more folks behind the scenes than Vinny and Andy, as much as they are in the limelight about it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Awesome. Other news before I go. Abadamstudios.com. Abadamstudios.com is a website. It's my little service and of a graphic and web design sort of studios. I've been taking on clients. I've been helping friends out, and doing some fun stuff, some creative stuff. And so if anybody there is looking for somebody to do a little graphic work or some website work, or need some sort of consulting on that front, hit me up at abadamstudios.com. I'll be curious to know what you have on the horizon and how I can help. And I guess that's it. Got to wrap up this episode. One of the other things that I haven't done in a while is a quote. So, I often quote, famous and obscure folks, and so I'll carry on with that tradition. So, a quote. It doesn't have to hit bottom as long as it scrapes the sides. And I'll credit that quote to Andy Schreiber. I think I need to put that on a t-shirt. And what does that mean, guys? Whatever you want it to mean. It doesn't have to hit bottom as long as it scrapes the sides. All right, folks. That's it. I'm going to rock and roll and get me more coffee and see if my kids need to eat something. So, speaking of eat, hug your family, eat something delicious, and go run something. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Ruel's Running Podcast with Ruel. If you like what you just heard, share it with your friends and your enemies. Also, be sure to check out the site over at ruelsrunning.com. This has been another Coffee with Heavy Cream production. Join us next time for another silly show of Ruel's Running Podcast.